So this morning, I want to introduce you to this practice as disciples right now who are making decisions. I like to use this practice to shape my own life. It's called the Daily Examine. It's attributed to St. Ignatius. It's a technique of prayerful reflection upon one's day in order to discern God's presence and God's direction for your life. It's an ancient practice of the church that can help us see God's hand in our whole experience. The first step is to become aware of God's presence. You know, when we showed up this morning, God was already here. We didn't bring God with us. God is everywhere. So we pause in the moment, recognize God is here, and you ask God's guidance, God's will, and ability to see your day how God would see it, through God's thoughts and God's way. The second step is to review your day. So I like to do this in the evening time. So you review from sun up, as soon as your feet hit the floor, all the way into that point that you are reflecting at the end of the day. Consider all that has occurred, every encounter you had, every conversation you had, every single decision you made. And remember, you make 35,000 of them, right? So step 3 is to pay attention to your emotions that are arising as you think of each of those scenarios. And then 4 is to choose one of those events that you might want to learn from, or you might want to then say, I didn't handle this encounter very well. So I want to learn from it so that if it happens again, I can change my ways. So you think about that encounter with that waitstaff that messed up your order. You think about that conversation about your finances with your spouse. You think about that behavior conversation you had with your child. And you think, God, how can you lead me to make this encounter better? The next time that I encounter this, God, how can I be a better representative of your grace, of your love, your forgiveness, and your mercy? And so step 5 then is to look to the next day, to say, okay, I've learned this from today, now I'm going to apply it tomorrow. So the examine can happen informally or formally, like by writing through a journal and things like that. So I encourage you to take part in that practice because it helps you become self-aware of how you are showing up in the world and challenging yourself to ask better questions, to make better decisions.